Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sacred Voices. My name is Franklin. How are you guys doing tonight? You guys feeling good? Yes. Trying to adjust the microphone, but also there's a lot of lights attached to it, so I don't want to break it. So for the tall people, this is about as tall as it's gonna get. Cool. So if you are in my height area, you're just gonna have to kiss up on the microphone, right? For those of you who are not as height challenged or anything like that, then y'all are gonna have a great night. Cool. Alrighty then, everybody. Welcome to Sacred Voices. This is indigenous, youth-centric open mic, but really we're open to the peoples, aka y'all. So hello, peoples. My job tonight is just to get the poets on deck, just let you know who's coming up. Nicole is on deck, gonna kick us off so you could be readies and all that. But the cool thing about tonight is we also have a feature. Our feature is Eric in the back. And so Eric is gonna go ahead and kick or do a set for us later on tonight. If you are not aware of who they are, they come from the Mercury Cafe. It's a wonderful, wonderful scene over there too. So we're just cross-pollinating poets from all over the place. If you still want to sign up, please just come to the list. Also, we have a Patreon. If you don't know what a Patreon is, it's pretty much like an account just to support us. Right? So you can find that at Patreon Sacred Voices, and all of the money that you give just so as to pay the poets who come up here, making sure that we can get vendors who sell cool earrings like this, right? And things like that. So this can be a real community space. Also, so we can also potentially like bring in people from out of state, because that's the goal too. So that's what the money goes to. You could also just drop money in a popcorn bucket over there. So if you don't want to do the whole like put a card on it, just drop money. We like the kind that jingles, but we love the kind that folds, right? So how many of you have been to an open mic ever before? Perfect. Now that's what we're talking about. If you do know how to participate in an open mic, please participate. For the nonverbal people, meaning you don't like to bring attention to yourself, I understand. Not everyone's okay with being like, yeah, right? You're just like, oh, that's a loud person right there, right? So you could do snaps, right? I invite you to snap. Can we practice a snap real quick? See, the cool thing about it is if everyone does it, it sounds like rain. And to a poet, that's magical. Right. The other one you could do too, I took this from the hip hop community. It's called props. Essentially, you're patting a tall person on their head. Like, good job. Right. But this is for like the breaking community. When they see something that they enjoy, that's what they do. They're like, ooh, that's fire. Right. But the easiest way to tell people how to do it is you have to think like pat a tall person on the head. Right. So if you hear something that you like, let's practice props real quick. Yeah, see, that's so cool. If you hear it and people do that, they're like, okay, I got you. You enjoy it. But sometimes you just want to be quiet in the room. If you do not want to be quiet in the room, there's a whole host of things that I'm going to do too. One of them, it is just like the extreme exhale. And essentially what happens is you feel a line so much, it's like a boxer hits you, and all the oxygen in your body escapes at one time, and it's like, right? So if you hear something and you're like, oh my God, right? Just let it out. Let people have it, right? It's one of the best feelings in the world when you say a line and someone's like, you're like, yes, I got one, right? The other one too, if you are super feeling something, right, you could do what I call the ancestral grunt, which is essentially a poet or a writer wrote something so amazing that they opened a portal in your stomach, and then like it went back to all of your ancestors, and they all let out this like really like guttural like, right? So, do you guys want to practice the ancestral grunt at the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. See? Thank you. It feels so great when everyone's just like, from the gut, though, right? Let all them little bacterias also say it, too, right? I'm a hella nerdy person also, so I'm going to let you know. You got a whole bunch of bacteria up in your stomachs. And they all want to let it out, too, right? So let him happen. So from the most quiet snaps and props to the most loud, please let our poets know what's going on or what you're feeling. That way, they know they're doing a good job, because trust, it's like we appreciate when you're just sitting there and listening and absorbing, but to us, we look at you and you're just like this. And then at the end, they come up and you're like, your poem was so moving, I almost cried. You're like, really? Really? So like, come on, be a human being with everybody. So with that being said, I'm never gonna ask people to do something I wouldn't do on stage. So like, if I'm inviting you to share poems, it's because I'm willing to share poems with you. So can I kick it off as your host? Go. This is a new thing that I wrote, which I actually wrote, y'all. If you know me, I've been freestyling poems for a minute, but I wrote a poem. Sorry, this is like a revelation only to me, but thank you for participating. I was writing because like I think I've been deadened a lot by what's happening in the news and in the world and everything. To one point I was just like, well, at this point I can't even cry anymore. It's just like another thing. I was like, oh, that's on fire. Oh, that person's dead. Oh, we're doing this. Like it just got to that point. So I was like, man, I just have to write something to like let it out another way. Because for some reason these things weren't working. So I haven't cried for too many reasons. A whole mouth of silence is my best attempt at an antidote for a world fixed on a ludicrous idea that our frustration with fake facts can overwhelm and sedate us. It damn near robbed all my poetic lines. Exquisite timpanis of syllables, I found them stashed like pirates. These words almost became materialistic, an almost Instagram-only thing. Villages are burning, whole forests becoming ancestors, so I remember to write in honor of tears which belong to all the burning and frustrated, both caught in the smoke. Throw up your signs for the lost ones. Call them forward. Bring them to the pista, yell with our bodies on dance floors. Let your joints jazz if you do it for the All-Mother. I haven't cried for her yet. But there are others with rivers carving new canyons across their cheeks on every parent who's lost an indigenous daughter. The parents of murdered black children. I haven't cried for the kids locked in cages. My own blood goes insane, which seems to have me hostage. It kidnapped my pride and power. I remember the day it stole my heart. I haven't cried because it wounds my ego, my civil stupidity, the programming that keeps the USA, my complicity with murder. I cannot lie that being idealistic only goes so far. I haven't cried during the rallies, giving none such a creator and facing detention centers down the street from my own house. We call senators and donate where it matters, people just fighting for a quality of life that proves God is real, that you can be more than tax-paying and obedient. I haven't cried even then, though. All we fight for is status quo and a meal, and even that is an insult to the powers that be. I haven't cried because I wonder how tears in the US would put out fires any other place it matters. To fill wells that ran dry under the shadow of carbon gases replacing rain clouds. It pours over crops and microplastics bless the soil now. These ducks seem like they hardened. Isn't that the worst? That amongst all this, they damn near beheaded my heart too. And all of ours. I haven't cried because I was trying to hide it amongst all the bombings in Syria that continue. In a war that is added onto a list that our country has become too hypnotized with. Other nations rise with action. Our nation cannot separate that life, liberty, and happiness together means nothing when we're apathetic, indecisive, and overstimulated alone. Maybe this is the price for being universally plugged in into everyone's mayhem. I don't want to release tears in a place that hasn't emotionally developed enough to understand how being raised in certain ways by parents with the best intent and sometimes bigoted, stunted, prejudiced minds results in generations of isms. I want to build a world where I can cry honestly and the warriors, healers, den carers, inventors, and leaders all gather just to provide community. An idealistic dream, but a world where emotions won't have others look at vulnerability as prey when vulnerability is in fact spirit. There is no progress on profits alone without a village that ignites when changes approaches. Solos cumplimos mierda. Juntos we'll pierce heavens with a puño y lloras cuando revientas esas etapas imposibles. I cry for spirits to let the current course and flow. I cry so that it hurts and moves. I cry for those who forgot how to with all the pain and it vents out into the skies, catches the empathetic so someone else can help. For the fires that take centuries with them in ashes. We cry for generations of lost forest, that old library, medicine cabinet, laboratory, workshop. I cry because I learned from the ocean to evaporate and separate salt from water so we can reign in our purest form again. I can't always cry for logical reasons, and sometimes I cry for God's reasons. And that reason made me feel human. I cry because my human cares that much about always remaining human. Thank you. Thank you for participating. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. On deck, I have Anna Everly, but coming up right now to bless us into the open mic, can I get Nicole Brown? Yeah, Nicole Brown, bring her up with a revolutionary applause. Set it off, set it off.
Excuse me, I am vertically challenged, so gotcha. I'm going to need a little bit of help with this.
If you need assistance with that.
I have no idea how to work this, so. Check, check, check. Okay. So, can you all hear me okay? Okay, sweet. My name's Nicole Montoya Brown, and I'm a descendant of the indigenous people who lived in what's now known as New Mexico and Colorado, and the Spaniards that settled there in the late 1500s. And so that, as many of you probably know, was once Mexico. So because of that, my family had typically identified as Mexican American, Hispanic, Latino, what have you. And I was always fine with that. I always completely embraced that. However, I began to look at those terms differently when I went up to Standing Rock. And I'll explain why here in a little bit, because up in Standing Rock was the first time I was really confronted with what colonization really looks like. And I realized for the first time, I don't know my Indian ancestors' names. I know they're a part of me, but I don't know much about them. And I realized that I'd only ever heard from a European colonist point of view. So after that, I made it my mission to learn as much as I could from the indigenous point of view as I could. So I became heartbroken when I realized there's a reason I don't know my Indian ancestors' names. And I won't go into too much detail about that, but I will say this. My struggle with the terms Hispanic and Latino comes from two reasons. Number one, it typically stereotypes you as an immigrant or as an intruder more subtly. And I've never been able to relate to that because we're not immigrants. Two, the other reason is because it totally dismisses our indigenous heritage. It acknowledges one side of our heritage, but ignores the other. So my way of expressing that was by trying to put rhymes to my Indian ancestors' voices. This is my rhymes attempt to let them have their voice, let them have their say, let them have their presence. It's called indigenous, in case you didn't know. Okay. Hispanic, his panic. Latina, Latinx, no. Indigenous, we are indigenous. Somos indígenas. History said the Spanish laid in bed happily wed my Indian ancestors. Made us mestizos, gringos y indios, mixed bloods, mixed races, Mexican faces from places today we call Colorado and New Mexico. They made us too colonized to realize that they were lies that hid these Indian eyes. They were lies that masked my ancestors' cries. Sorry, one moment, please. Thanks. They masked my ancestors' cries saying, we didn't mix with these colonist pricks, following their dicks, later calling us spics. Our bodies were raped. Our culture reshaped. Our babies enslaved. Our souls saved. Our sacred land, our sacred voices, our sacred songs, our sacred dances, our sacred beliefs, our sacred hopes, our sacred children, nearly erased. But we are here. 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 My Indian ancestors tell me, estamos aquí contigo. We are here with you. We did not die off because we are a part of you and you are a part of us, indigenous. Latino, you say? Immigrant, you say? Illegal, you say? No, fuck that. We were here on U.S. soil long before you traded your blood for oil, long before the U.S. became the U.S., before the U.S. became us, before we became the U.S. We are the U.S. The U.S. is us, indigenous. Thank you.
Give it for Nicole one more time. I got a helpful tip from the tech crew. Everyone use this one. Cool. This one lets you get taller. That's great. That was wonderful. I really appreciate, especially when I'm just gonna say it, when people just cuss so well, right? No, it's great. We are a family event, but at the same time, I have the philosophy of especially if you already know the kids and everything like that, use the language appropriately so they have an understanding of how to use it. It's okay to cuss to release emotion sometimes, but also try not to curse people, right? That's a different thing. Like you could curse to like let it out, but also don't like throw it at someone, right? Because that is like a way to hurt someone. But you could hurt those people. It's okay. That was wonderful too. And then I think the other beautiful thing about it too is just like I love the fact that you bring it up. We're all indigenous. Like colonization is a thing that happened hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. But before that, your family still existed, right? So what do you call that? And then I love always like inviting people to go back and find your ancestry. I went back and we thought we were one specific tribe, and then we found out we were two different tribes. I was like, oh, that's cool. Never knew that. If you have the luxury of having ancestry who came through Ellis Island, you have the luxury of going back and finding that exact name and that exact place where they got you from. The rest of us are kind of like meddling in through Tia's stories, right? And you're just like, oh, sweet. Now from Tia Marta, we found out that we're also part Pima. We're like, cool. She was the only one who knew that, right? So on deck, I got Elizabeth, but coming up with the title, either way, make some noise for Anna. Yeah, Anna.
Yeah, see, short. Yeah. I actually kind of want it shorter. There we go. So, my first time here, I've read at Mercury Cafe like 4 times in my whole life, and once in another state. But I write a lot of poetry, and I've been trying to read some, and I definitely don't have any sort of community around it yet. So that's kind of why I was coming here tonight in something a little more private than Mercury Cafe. So I'll be exploring that option after everybody else does their thing. So this one, it's kind of new, but I call it Either Way. You are made of bones and questions and muscles and ideas and ligaments and laughter and tendons and aches. You are covered in skin that you covered in the color of you. You are made of toenails and fingernails and eyelashes and eyebrows and pubic hair and back pimples. You are intentionally curled dark brown hair on top of your rounded head. Your intentionally curled dark brown hair on top of that round-headed, square-jawed skull. That hair is beautiful. The bathtub bubbles coat your skin and slowly pop as they would on every other surface of every other skin on this whole, wide world. But those bubbles, they are on your skin. Your beautifully, slightly peach, yellowish, and every color of the rainbow tattooed skin. Those bubbles pop on your worth. Your skin is worthy. Your muscles are worthy. Your bones are worthy. Your heart is worthy. Your soul is worthy. Your breath is worthy. You are worth. Your feelings matter. Sad, happy, vulnerable, scared, respected, complete, angry, frustrated, ambivalent, validated, violated, tense, euphoric, funny, soft, enlightened, brave, confident, empty, stressed, wanted. Wanted. Can I feel wanted when I'm all alone? You will struggle with that question tonight and many nights to come. For your answer, repeat after me. I can want me. You can want me too. Either way, I am wanted. Every night you will close your eyes and hope you will be wanted tomorrow. You will breathe in today and know that you are wanted today. You are worthy. You are wanted. You are made of worth. You are made of want. Thank you, guys.
Ooh, Anna, thank you for the affirmations. Everyone repeat after me. I love myself. I am worthy. I am fine. Here's the situation about that. Only 4 people said it exactly as I said it. I didn't say I'm fine. I said I am fine. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I am fine. Thank you. Right? And one more time. I am worthy. I think you bring up a wonderful point. This is the thing. You can learn from people through art in ways that would take hours and hours and hours upon conversation, right? To get what we just got from you, from you would probably take a 2-hour conversation at your house, probably cutting food open, like cooking it up, sharing said food, like sitting together, drinking wine, drink coffee, drink whatever you want to drink, right? But nonetheless, that's what it would take. You did that for us in like 2-3 minutes, right? So as you said in the audience, just remember that you're like listening to people and they're giving you distilled, like thought out versions of themselves, right? And to come back to that point of like, I am worthy, I am worthy. I was sitting back there and I was like, how many times do we just practice that and just remembering that like all them things you listed, there's a lot of things, so I can't relist them, but all the things you listed, we are all those things and still worthy in that moment, right? I always believe that everything that you go through is very much shaping you to be the person that you will eventually become. So sometimes it does not make sense, right? But literally, if you're a little ant going up a mountain, it also wouldn't make sense to the little ant, right? So continue along. Always remember that you're worthy. Thank you so much for that. All right. On deck, I'm going to try, what is that name? Beverly? Beverly? Cool, you are on deck, but you have the fanciest handwriting. Coming up next in the moment is Elizabeth. Can we get a round of applause for Elizabeth? There they are. Bring them up all the way up to the stage. Yeah, bring them up. Round of applause all the way up to the stage. That was for you.
Oh, that's my name. Okay, sorry. Hi. It's my first time here, so thank you for having me. I'm not an indigenous person, but I'm really glad that you're welcoming me into the space and I get to hear everyone else, so thank you. Sorry, I didn't put tabs in this, so let me just find this page. Let's see. Bear with me for a second while I just flip through here. Really big build up here. Okay. So this, I'm going to read 2 poems because they're pretty short, so won't take up too much of your time. This one is called The Difference. When you were 4 years old, you were playing with other little boys when you hugged them. As Gracie and I chased each other round banana trees near the water outside the acquaintance's house, unaware, you were indoors with the boys whose palms met your chest before your tailbone smacked the floorboards. You shoved back. The boys went on without you, and we found you under a dining room table, knees jammed into your chest, eyes glued to the floor. Before that, you didn't know you were different, your future like mine. And that day, I wept for you, for love and for cruelty. Okay, next poem. Thanks. This next poem is called When I Have a Daughter. When I have a daughter, I will not let her break. I will teach her how to survive. Be brave, I'll say. Don't tremble out loud. When you look like prey, they become predators. When we go to the garden, I will plunge my fingers into the soil. An inch, half inch, a millimeter, each depth determines life or death. She's watching me scatter seeds. A lacewing fly lands on her scalp, and she doesn't seem to notice. I am sweating now. It is summer, and the air is thick, vapor dripping like honey, honeysuckles tangled on the fence. I brush the dirt from my knees, damp, and squinting, she tends to the soil. These moments are doorways, or windows, or portals. Shimmering, bright, rich with promise. They are opportunities I haven't missed yet. I cannot fix what is broken, but maybe I can alchemize, create something divine. When I have a daughter, I will not close my eyes. I will use my senses and save us both. Thank you.
Ooh, that was really lovely. Thank you one more time. Give it up for the poet once again, everybody. That was really cool. I definitely agree with you. Alchemize. Y'all, it's a nature thing. You don't got to like deal with everything. Sometimes you just got to go through stuff and then it'll break stuff down. And you're like, oh, that's really cool. I could actually use that. throw that away, right? Sometimes it just happens. And then again, you're going to be a little kid about it. Sometimes you're like, no, but I really like that piece. And universe or creator, whoever you believe is like, yeah, I know, scoot back real quick. And then they're just going to break it either way. Because it's like, I love that you're over here trying. My favorite joke of all time, if you want to make God laugh, tell them your plans, right? Like, it's just like, yep, there's sometimes a plan. And then you're just like, but I really want to do this. And they're like, I know you really do. Go that way. All right, then, friends. On deck, we got Charlie. But coming up right now, let's make some noise for Beverly. Keep the applause coming all the way up. All the way up. Applaud, applaud, applaud.
Oh, so many themes. Motherhood and indigenous people. I'm indigenous from Northern Europe. But one of the things that I've always been different from my adoptive family in that I didn't understand their prejudice. But it was really brought home to me when my little girl came home from daycare, not even from kindergarten, but daycare, and she said her father has some Native American heritage, and when she was born, she was this beautiful latte color that was just amazing, and this dark brown hair, and she came home and she said, I don't want to be an Indian. And I said, what are you talking about? She said, I don't want to be Native American. And from daycare, she had gotten that the cowboys always beat the Indians, and it was Thanksgiving, and it just broke my heart. So the things that we do to each other are just amazing. On another note, the things happening in the world, this is really an act of sedition, what we're doing here, by building community and speaking our minds and what we believe is our value to the world and to each other. So places like this are really precious. This is sort of along those lines a poem of frustration of the journals that are out there and the types of things they accept. I don't read the type of poetry I've heard so far in those. So this is my expression of opinion about that. It's called No Wonder, a byline for submission. It's a sound assumption you're a man. Are you steeped in the classics? Then will you want to hear a new slant on Persephone or Prometheus or someone more obscure like Erebus? Or would you prefer another tired study on the rape of Lucretia? God knows there's enough rape to go around, but Lucretia is at arm's length and ancient and academically enshrined in sanctioned brutality. Another remake is sure to be a hit. Or do you sit under a framed diploma of Master of Fine Arts? Then how cloudy should I form the glass of words so readers can only glimpse the colors and indefinite shapes made up by my metaphors? Meaning matters less and less and less, and after all, obscurity is an IQ test for any poet worthy of print these days. Abstractions are comfortable and certainly easier. They are sleepy and ephemeral, not sharp like the cut angles that form letters on tombstones. Not solid and sure like the hardest questions or the heaviest pain. Sandburg, for Christ's sake, laid brick and heaved coal. Williams wrote poems on notepads for prescriptions. Whitman's hands were bathed in the blood of the dying of the Civil War. We're mired in life, hit in the face with it, hanging on, straining to keep our chins up as best as we can above the swale. And by the way, over half of us are female. We yearn for connection, for communion, for understanding, for communication, and none of these seem worthy of your attention. No wonder no one reads poetry. This is for a dear friend of mine who I lost when I wasn't even 40. We weren't even 40 yet, and she was gone. It's called When. When is not a place, except Einstein says, indeed it was, or is, or will be. Longitude plus latitude plus a point on the trajectory of time's arrow, which looks a lot like an old-fashioned secondhand or the chiseled indentation on a tombstone. When you died, that day was a real number and possibly prime, it being indivisible by any other milestone that I have ever known. Your long illness tumbled rubble over the moments between us, dragging and scarring with its glacial speed. But we dodged with wry humor and dark laughter. So I was prepared. I was not prepared. I could not comprehend the meaning of being locked in this particle of time without you. When I did not cross the meridian with you, I could not predict the heaviness of mass within my heart that forever curves the path I travel. We were a quantum coupling, an infinite pair, not reducible or physically reasonable or Euclidean deducible, separated in this displacement. The love that I remember now beams light from a distant star plot, hums a subatomic message, strums a quiver along a web's thread of silk that I cling to as anyone would hold a lifeline over an abyss in a desperate fist.
Can we all just get a collective? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, Bev. Yep. I was not expecting that. That got me in my heart. I always say pay homage to things. Like the least you could do for things is write them a poem, right? Like I wrote poems for my dad, and I'm just like, like literally for all he's done, like that's the least I could do for him. So like find the people who you're just like, you know what, you made an impact on my life. Like this is on a napkin, but I love you, and like give it to them, right? So at least they know, like they have at least some sentiment, even if they keep it or not. They could just read it and be like, you cheesy. All right. Real quick, I also want to bring attention to this beautiful thing right here. This is actually a little art installation by someone. Their name is Kat, and they weren't able to be here, but they actually set the whole thing up, right? So the lights and everything. So this is the wolf moon, which is a powerful way to begin the year. The orange is an inspiring color for creativity, and it's wrapped around the cord. If you know what the Kundalini is, it is a practice from yoga. It's essentially like this cobra that coils around your body and pulls your body up. And then it also like opens up energies and things like that for your body. So that is what that is right there. There's a lot of metaphor to this. They can, at the count of 3, we're all going to howl. 1, 2, 3. That was actually really satisfying. Apparently that's to open the throat portal. So I felt that because, I hope you did. You guys want to try one more time? Let's do it again for the people who were like, I didn't feel anything. 1, 2, 3. Oh! See, that one was better. Some of you leaned in more. Yeah. And then this is just to really empower us to like, while we're on stage, I think it's very important to also honor the visual artist, because not everyone who does the art, right, is on a stage sometimes. A lot of the artists, like, if you do not know, I see art in everything. But there's a whole bunch of people running all this technology and making sure that all the sound is right. That's an art. Ooh, the camera. Ooh, look at that. That's slick. That's slick. Some people got to chill in their spine. They're like, that's too real. That's too real. I think it's cool. On deck, we got Mateo, but coming up to the bless the stage next, let's make some noise for Charlie.
What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep. If you haven't noticed, I usually don't dress up this like fashionably as usual. So I'm gonna do 3 poems. 2 of them are a part of a collection that I'm currently working on, where I'm basically challenging myself to write a poem every single day for the entire year. And at the end of the year, I'm going to publish 7 entire books of these same poems. So please, can't fuck this up. So please connect with me if you want to like get a copy or want to know how that project's going. But let's kick it off with this one. Be the disappointment your mama wanted you to be. Growing up, we were told to always be home before the streetlights turned on their bioluminescent eyes as they curved and judged you when half the time you missed that curfew. But still came to a warm meal and familia even after getting maybe a lick or two from your pop's cinto. Be the disappointment your mama wanted you to be. Hold your head up high and stay true to what you believe in, even if it means risking a detention but never incarceration. Be the disappointment your mama wanted you to be. Don't sweat about percentiles and GPAs, all those statistics. Show these fools you can actually learn how to mix both your life outside of the textbooks and how to fight to get rid of the same systems of operations that keep you under lock and key. Be the disappointment your mama wanted you to be. Outshine these classy, privileged hoes as they complain, trying to pin their woes on you. That you're not good enough. That you're only here because of affirmative action, that you're just another anchor-weighted baby. Be the disappointment your mama wanted you to be. Take all these fools back to grade school, carving your own story told by you, written by you, lived through you. It doesn't matter if blood is thicker than water. This is your own avatar living on borrowed time, so don't just roll over when the same bloodlines try to keep a hold on you. Do what you know innately best. And be the proud disappointment your mama wanted you to be. That's the end of the first one. I'm gonna just run with the theme of like kids and whatnot. I actually have a lot of experience teaching like K-12. I used to do it for like 5 years and then they didn't hire me back. I wonder why. So next poem. If you had a child, what would you teach them? Some folks might think it's a horrible idea for me to even teach kids, let alone raise my own. Pero sabes que? They can all just go duck themselves. If I had a kid or kids, I would retell them my story from the constant eye bags to the wonderful non-existent riches I achieved to this very day. I want them to remember my legends and myths, to look back at them and keep them orally alive for the future as to what the hell not to do and what to die in pursuit of, and what to fight for, and what to cry for, and what to smile for. I want my kids to know that there are authors. They are authors to their own libros in our library of Mendozas, where each story serves as a backdrop for our new exciting tales my wild bloodline has in store for this world. I want my kids to know that my glass ceilings are where they can start building off of instead of going back to square one. Love who they want to, share a cup with whoever they want to as well. I want them to know that this world isn't as ugly as I'll paint it to be, that beauty is hidden deep underground where our roots pulse and beat to our own beats, a bachata, a cumbia, a folclórico, a salsa, a reggaeton, y hasta lambada mixed in between. I will tell them that when they feel lost, to always look towards the moon and the stars, the sun if they have shades on too, in that picturesque black on black landscape our ancestors smiled down, consolation from ear to ear. I will tell them que sí vale la pena mantenerse escribiendo sus cuentos de la vida. I will tell them que sean orgullosos de donde vengan. I will tell them que no importa lo que diga la televisión ni lo que te dicen en la calle. La tez de tu piel vale igual y hasta más. If you had a child, what would you teach them? Dun dun, that's my second one. So for this third one, I'm improvise it and bust it out fresh on this stage. Y'all are gonna see a new poem that even I don't know what the hell it's gonna be about. So we're gonna be on a little roller coaster real quick. It's gonna be a short one. But to give a little bit more context as to why I'm dressed this way, Like I said, I'm running on 2 hours of sleep because, yeah, it's funny. I know, I'm laughing too, right deep down. All that anxiety's bunching up and bridging. Gotta love it. Woo! Lovely to be a human. But anyway, so last night, actually, aka 18 hours ago, give or take, I got baby's first speeding ticket. Hey! I got my first speeding ticket. That's awesome. Yeah, apparently you can't go over a certain speed limit range when you're on the highway. I learned that the hard way. To anyone who's younger than me, please don't do what I did because it's scary. I was shitting bricks. Anyway, so let's see, what poem can I do? Dear Mr. Officer, I know you see my broken tail light, but you didn't call me out for that. You saw me running 102, but you know. But you know, we were both just trying to get home as soon as we could. I hope you have a family, maybe even kids. I don't know your life. Hopefully you will never know mine again. Dear Mr. Officer, I know you didn't see my tail light, and I know I ran over the speeding limit. But at the same time, I can't see the logic of you having me stop at 2 o'clock in the morning as I'm trying to get home to my dos hijitas, my perritas, you know, this thing that I call a familia. Dear Mr. Officer, you threatened me with getting me handcuffed, even though we both know you were exhausted as fuck. I'm actually doing pretty good for this improvising stuff. It's been like 5 years. Anyway, dear Mr. Officer, thank you for wasting 20 minutes of my life I will never get back. Thank you for wasting 8 hours of my fabulous Friday morning as I kept on calling different traffic lawyer after traffic lawyer, hearing that I'd need to pay 3-figure sums in order to get represented at a court of law where I didn't do no wrong. I was just trying to get home. Like, if you were in my shoes, wouldn't you like to go home too? That's all I gotta say. How about you? There we go. Fuck it.
Oh, I know. I walked out on that line. He said that. I was like, oh my God. That's great though. I can't even lie. I've been doing silly things like that too sometimes. You're just like, whoop, that's too fast, right? We all get caught up. With that being said, I'm going to introduce our feature. I have a short little bio before I bring them up. So if you guys don't know, we are trying to like get poets into this space, right? Because we're trying to build up the community. So I'm really happy to have this poet here. Eric Francis is a queer, Black, and Latinx poet based in Denver, Colorado. He writes with the mantra, live your puns, meaning to be attentive to both the words and life's own homophones and multiple meanings. That's, y'all, when's the casual time you drop in homophones, right? He is a Winter Tangerine Workshop alum and was the 2019 Amiri Baraka Scholar for Poetry at SWP at Naropa University. Well, we are learning things. I didn't know that either. He has work published and or forthcoming in Borderlands, Texas Poetry Review, and Santa Clara Review, Kissing Dynamite, TSPJ, I did that real well right there, and Spit Poetry Zine. Find him on Instagram at Phantom Poet. Please, y'all, make a lot of noise for our featured poet tonight. Bring up Eric!
Hello. Hi. So I'm feeling a lot of feelings. I'm sure you all are feeling all the feelings after our lovely poets who've graced the stage. Let's give it up again for all the poets who graced the stage. So one thing I need to do, but I'm sure we all would probably benefit from, is just some explicit breathing. So I'm not going to count it off. Everyone has different lungs and how they work, but just take some time to just get some breaths in and out. I always like starting off my readings with breath because really that's how poems begin. That's how they end. That's the space in the middle of the words. And I also just think it like brings us together with the space. We breathe out whatever all of our feelings are. We breathe in together that same air that we're occupying right now. So thank you for humoring me with that. I have some poems for y'all. I have a bunch of poems. So let's get into it. This first one is about bodies. It's about my body. It's about your body. It's about big bodies, little bodies, awkward bodies, cool bodies, no bodies, yes bodies. So it's called Growing and Positioning Systems, or GPS. And it starts out with a little musical epigraph. So if you all would be so kind, I need a little beat to like get us started. So if we can just like, thank you. I'ma look for my body, yeah, I'll be back real soon. I'ma look for my body, yeah, I'll be back real soon. I'ma look for my body, yeah, I'll be back real soon. I'ma look for my body, yeah, I'll be back real soon. I'ma look for my body, yeah, I'll be back real soon. I'ma look for my body, yeah, I'll be back real soon. I'ma look for my body, yeah, I'll be back real soon. What is infinite, wonderful body but a map to a home that itches and improvises? Our heads, our hair, are each keys and paths to ourselves, layered membrane, digits 5 and 510 body expanses teeming in memory and texture. Read CAT scan tomography and just touch, and GPS trust gut bubbles as butterfly and cardinal. Each sense a direction, each scent a message, desperate to caress trajectory into flesh like lotion. Hair, braided bosque and shea into compass rose, crowned in code and cartography, wrapped in emerald satin. Ruby stitched skin, blanketed in pimpled topography and thimbleless thumbs, armed and equipped barber razor, buzzing a grid to scalp, a nocturnal, shadow-faded legend, shadow fade legendary. The lineup spans forehead, prime meridian, the edges sprout curl and coordinate formation. Even the dandruff flakes fall as breadcrumb trails, as roots to roots and bear fruit. As is lymph node, as erogenous zones and knee caps and fingertips along dermal margins and purple bruises, desperate to impress each and every location. The bounce and the grease, the crusting decay of busting bud and zit, the cis, each benign reminders of our cycles sublime. And what are sweat and tears but drops of pin? But spots marked X, but salt circles, but clepsydra water clocks, and what are we but vessels? Vessels who just keep losing our ways, but continue to find fresh and intimate questions. Ashe. So my name again is Eric. I also go by Phantom Poet, which is my handle on Twitter or Instagram, if you would like to add me on there later. This next poem is about my, I guess, identities. I'm multiracial. The easy route is to just say I'm Black and Latinx, but as a poet shared with us a little bit earlier, the term Latinx is fraught. It's in my personal Latinx, Latinidad, is fraught with, there's some French dudes in there, there's some Spanish dudes in there, there's some English dudes in there, but then there's also a lot of indigeneity mixed up with that. I'm also Black, and that comes with a whole other set of questions when it comes to identity. So this poem that I'm going to share, it's called Bodies of Water, and it's about those confluences of identity, and it's also about that frustration of continuously being confronted with histories and saying the origin point is something like ancient Greece, but we know that the ancient Greeks were taking from Mesopotamia. We know that they were taking from Egypt. And so this poem says, I too am a black Gaia, a black Poseidon, a black god. This is Bodies of Water. Smiling mixed kid who longed to grow an afro, instead found Afro-pessimism entrenched in the tresses and the roots. A tale wretched and everlasting like skittering tomb scarabs instead seeps deep and sticky into bittersweet cocoa follicles. Us earthen peoples with our histories igneous, ebon melanin atlases, we are, our spines crack like plate tectonics, his spine cracked like plate tectonics, an earnest convergence of culture and conscience, of harmonics and demonics, of masonics and electronics, of peoples and perishables. Un moreno sonriendo, quien espero por su afro propio, su lengua propia. En lugar se encontró la eternidad en los raíces, en el pelo quebrado. Hay un lugar con maíz como oro en la tierra, en lugar se convirtió conocido pero cocido con sangre y agua. And a smiling mixed kid knows of rivers, rivers as ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. His spine cracks like plate tectonics. Our spines crack like plate tectonics. Ebon melanin atlases we are, oily Poseidons we are, charcoal Gaias we are. Our spines crack like plate tectonics. Our ears crave radical tonics, and our lips, they yearn for bodies of water. So our mouths drink rivers, and a smiling mixed kid armed in fist with an afro pick instead bathes in confluences and nothing more instead. He dreams of a future of rock and rain. He dreams of a past fossilized and brought to the present. An obsidian Hyades, we will all be. Ashe. Okay, this next poem, I'm just gonna let it speak for itself. How about that? It's called Sunspots. I am the untouchable sun, burning in the darkness. My gravity tugs and repels, so I watch worlds spin around me. I am the unlovable sun. Send your prayers to me. I will ignite them like Icarus, like Ison, for more black soot to envelop me. I'm the unseeable sun, eyes both cry and dry at my sight too bright. The light only fights, you fly away and wait for mild night. I am the unknown sun, my old rays linger like memories. Hold those close, at least in reverie, for any moment I could explode. And now there is no sun, just a frigid dwarf in the wake of a supernova. The first, the last, the last, the first, the first, the last, the last, the first. Big Bang. Thank you. Whew. Okay, what's up, everyone? What's up, everyone? What's up, everyone? Oh, I think I'm lagging. I think I'm lagging again. I think it might be the sunspots. I'm lagging again. What's up, everyone? This one is called Lagging. Sometimes I've had a flinch for a while. Sometimes I hear laughing Within earshot, I get a jealous rush. I catch nervous laughs too. A question gurgles in my belly, urging to know, is it about me? I don't think it is, at least not anymore. That was really funny when they saw you lagging and they killed your character. That was really funny when they saw you lagging. It's a glitch. I lag. You lag. IRL, URL, public policy is designed to lag. The economy is designed to lag. The education system is designed to lag. Time is designed to lag. Lag is usually a hardware problem. Maybe you felt this too. Lagging sometimes feels like laughing. Good laugh. You should have known your system was lagging. It's been hacked slash good lag, good laugh, good lag. My mind is malfunctioning, functioning. I'm lagging. Hardware, hard worn. Error in my lung, unsupported devices. Unplug, plug in my vices so my brain can't translate my tongue. Twitch, stream me, twitching, switch swiftly. Mrs. Quicken, mental limits picked with sticky, stingy digits, sinned and forbidden, given for unforgiven. It's a glitch. It's a glitch. It's a glitch. I've already admitted it. And now, lagging. And now, laughing. And now, lagging feels like laughing, feels like lagging, feels like laughing. Good lag, good laugh, good lag, good laugh, good lag, good lag. So yeah, that one was called Lagging. I have been writing a number of poems about okay, it's all right, cool. We're just gonna about our interactions with the digital space, because I think it's really interesting how we exist here, but we have our phones in our pockets, or maybe we're looking at them now, and we have that interaction with and even right now where I'm being recorded, I'm gonna end up on the internet and be some other digital person. But there's an interaction there that continuously happens, and it really bleeds into our psyche and the way we think. So it's really hard to describe what that means. So I don't really try to. I just sort of let the poems do it. So this next one is called Digital Footprint. Oh, and it's a sonnet. I love sonnets. Your fave's fave writes sonnets. They're not scary. They're super cool. 14 lines. Just give it a try as a challenge. Just 14 lines. Go. Anyway, yeah. I'm a nerd about sonnets. I was recently a guest host at Writer's Block in Boulder, and I did a little workshop where we read a bunch of contemporary American sonnets. So Shakespeare is scary, but modern stuff is a little bit less scary and a little bit more wow, I could do this, and it could be really cool. It could be about whatever. Mine is about the internet. This is called Digital Footprint. I open up the window, hurl everything out into the portal void of space. Precious gems, early morning stimuli to new news, grief, latent blunders, all coded binary. I drag bags to trash and walk away from explosives and rubble, puzzle piece debris. All of my cadavers unearthed. Am I afraid? Undead only threaten to progress, a notion dependent on a flattened former self, nostalgic, ugly, a fully redacted, unannotated archive, a utopia never to know, a graveyard, visitor vacant. Thank you. Alrighty, I have just a few more for you all. If that's okay. How am I doing on time? Time's good? Okay, cool. Just gratitude. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to do this. Just gratitude all the way. I like saying gratitude when I like filling up space when I don't know what else to say. Gratitude. Alrighty, the next poem is going to be called, what do I want to do? We're going to do this piece. It's called Apocalypse Party. I think a lot of people have talked about indigeneity and the idea that indigenous people were not wiped out, even though genocide truly did happen, but we still exist. And so the world has endured many different types of apocalypses, and yet we find ways to live through them, to dance through them. So this is sort of an homage to that. It starts off with a quote from Frantz Fanon in his text, Wretched of the Earth. I like this quote in particular because he talks about dance. And for a book that's dedicated to a discussion about violence, I found dance's presence in that book really sobering. So here's what he says, quote, "The phenomenon of dance and possession in which the most brutal aggressiveness and vitriolic violence can be channeled, transformed, and spirited out and away. The dance circle is an inclusive circle." End quote. It's called Apocalypse Party. And we've been at this party. We've been a part of this party. This ain't a pity party. We ain't a part of their pity. We were born at this party. We were born torn apart. We were born political party. We were born cute in the war. We been cute. We been war. We were born in war games, and they've been playing games, and they been tearing apart, and they've been tearing up the floor, and they've been blowing up the party. They drop a bomb, and we drop a beat. They drop a bomb and we drop a beat. The party been bombed. The beat drones on. The beat drone bombs. The beating. The beat. 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 Drop the beat. Drop it. Drop my red to the floor, red the dance floor. Left, red feet, shoot my feet, shoot your shot. Shot myself in the mirror, shoot, 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 shoot. They shoot up the dance floor. We fuck up the dance floor. We've been fucked up, so we know how to fuck it all back down. And the world been fucked up because the world been had apocalypse. And we been apocalypse. And we been, 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 and we been dancing. Shoot our feet, dance, drop. So I'm definitely I'm fidgeting with this, and okay. Alrighty, it just kind of keeps getting lower, and I'm just like, hello, everyone, poetry's coming down. So we're just moving right along. So I have 2 more poems I want to share, if that's okay. Keep me updated on time. If okay, cool. Which ones? I keep playing with my set list in my head, and it's just like, just say a cool poem. I don't know. I want to talk about birds. So we're going to talk about birds, but really by talking about birds, we're going to talk about histories of indigenous peoples. So that's what's happening right now. This is called For the Birds. Prometheus did not give us fire. Instead, it was a bird named Bennu who gifted us the sacred flame, Agni. Thank you, Bennu. Thank timely heat. Bennu is the original phoenix who ignited the world and left behind an egg of ash and myrrh. Herodotus, Greek father of history, recorded myths and descriptions of Bennu's luminous plumes, purple, Like the regalia of Mansa Musa on each and every medieval Spanish map, those same stories preserve ancient Ethiopian peoples who communicated in a proto-language of complex chirps, trilled music understood only by them and Benue. Yesterday, in the Himalayas, the sharp call was heard of Benue in a Hmong community where a mother cries out to her children, "Come home." In a Tenochtitlan eagle flew from Eden with a serpent in its beak. It too knows of Benue, and it too knows the truth of the fruit of knowledge. In New Zealand, there is a palm cockatoo who flew from Mali to Malibu and now plays djembe in drum circles on the beach, and Benue is there. She dances and she sways. In Mexico City, Incan doves flutter above with Benue, and the land itself trembles, quaking with each wing flap. In New York City, it is an aviary where birds of Benue, of a feather, flock together, congested on a majestic street corner. They eat hot leftovers and scream phoenix, and Benue appears, speaking to them in pidgin and patois. Maroon orioles fly away, leaving only black feathers, and still surviving maroons congregate and drink sweet nectar. They've done the same with doctor birds humming close by in an Hispaniola thicket apothecary. And tomorrow, or yesterday, or today in Australia, unhatched from ash as a pitch black kite in the sky, Benue will downswoop into a grassy bush flame and grab an ember with outstretched talons to paint the sky with smoke. Benue will downswoop once more and set the land ablaze. Once more, gifting another flame, another sacred flame, gifting perfumed ash and fragrant myrrh. There, in an island in Belize, dedicated to the Garifuna people, dedicated to the name of Benue, just for the birds. Thank you. All right, and I have my last poem for you all. I just keep messing with this, and I think I just keep making it worse. I'm sorry, everyone. We could. Okay, I was a little scared because. Okay, we're just gonna do this. This is great. So the last poem I have for you all is about lying. I think I've been telling the truth for most. Maybe not. I don't know. This one's about lying. I think there's a way in which in our society we say, tell the truth and do not lie, but we're all liars and we can't do that. And I think one of the best things we can do to mitigate that is not to set platitudes that we can't actually achieve, but rather simply just to be honest about our lies. So this is my attempt to hold myself accountable, being honest about myself being a little liar sometimes. Oh, and I should mention that this poem was written after Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin. They had a conversation on this show that I wasn't alive to witness but saw on YouTube, and everyone else can see it on YouTube, would highly recommend. It's called Soul, and it was filmed in 1971, and it was a conversation between Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin. And there's this beautiful moment where Nikki Giovanni in this conversation with James Baldwin says, "I need you to lie to me and smile the way you can smile and lie to your oppressor every day. Why do you take out your horrible truths on me when I come home?" And that really resonated with me. So I wrote this poem. All right, no more talk about it. Let's do it. This is Lying to Live. James Baldwin once said that he could never lie to the ones he truly loved. But that was a lie. And Nikki Giovanni knew that we would love and lie, and there may be a reason why, but what matters most is us here, living and loving and lying together, and that's okay. I've already lied today anyway. See, I haven't really slept in a while, so I've been faking my dreams and calling it living lucid and calling it inception, deception, depression, and calling it on the phone for company. Can you blame me? I mean, if we all woke now, then where are the dreams? They're getting harder to remember. They keep getting misquoted and manipulated like MLK's dream. We've been exploited and baited by the American dream, and it seems that dystopias were created as lies we called paradise. Do you ever wonder if some of our more fundamental truths are based on lies, like outdated textbooks with colonial missions written and riddled with lies of omission? They say the truth is cold, so maybe that's why Mother Nature lies boldly. Picture a winter sunny day that brightly belies the season's consistent frigid pricks. In other words, the weather fronts. Besides, there's no use denying the importance of lying to that voice that just whispers in your ear continuously, you're dumb, you're ugly, you're worthless, you're alone. Raise your hand if you've ever told a lie before. Let me read the lines of fiction in your palms. I already know we're liars. I just want to know what kind, so we can create little layers of liars and call them falsehoods, or call them duplicity cities. Call them fib cribs, or just call them when we need to. Let's be honest. It makes us uncomfortable to admit that we live in a society that lies habitually. But what is lyric without liar? Sometimes you have to lie to survive, rooted in this world of untruth. And do you know why we don't admit our lies? Because too many times a day, our truths are denied before our eyes. Because too often we gender criticize to all of our demise because we can't recognize the violence and how patriarchy socializes. Because too many times do femmes arrive home not to smiles, but to ire, guile, and domestic violence because police departments lie. Because police departments lie and say that they don't make their money to have a monopoly on crime, all while they eschew indictments as their victims die, while trying to hide the thousands of rape kits that remain uninvestigated and sterilized. So tell me, where is the lie? So maybe I can't handle the truth anymore. Maybe the truth is never tangible enough for me, and brutal honesty is just that. Brutal, but give me the brutal world just as it is, just as we are, dying to live, lying to live. I will look you all in the face. I will look the world in the face and still say, life is a beautiful thing. And there are many reasons why. Ashe. Alrighty. Thank you, everyone. That has been my time. My name is Eric. I go by Phantom Poet. If anything moved you, come chat with me after. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now this whole situation. Yo, okay, cool. This thing wants to stay perpendicular. That's just my advice to you. Anyone who wants to utilize this. Hopefully, done. Cool. Did you guys join Eric? Yeah? Good job. If you want to donate, you can donate online through Venmo, or if you also want to do the Patreon and just like become a monthly subscriber, again, you could do like a $5 one, a $10 one. I think the highest one is $20, right? $20 a month. You could also do like a custom one. You could be like, I'll give you $1 a month. It's like, cool, we'll take it, right? The way we like to say, it's like $3 gets you in all the time, like $5 gets you and a friend in all the time. $10 is like anybody else and their friend, right? $20 is like you just paid for 4 seats. Cool? So I'm going to pass this around. If this is your other way, coins again, appreciated. Really enjoy the high numbers. You know, if anyone's got $1 million tonight, I think the goal is $1 million. Yeah, the goal is $1 million. I think we could do it. What, there's like 20 people here? Yeah, cool. His little eyes just went so wide for a second. He's like, what? Cool. All right, then, friends. We're going to continue the night going. Just got a couple more poets on this list. Thank you all for sticking with us. The next poet that I have coming up, I tried not to surprise him because I always surprise him. I'm always like, you're going now. And he's like, oh, got you, K. This time I was like, it's polite enough to be like, you're up next. So please don't. Yes, I swear to God, your dumb face is just killing me. I love this kid so much, but sometimes. Everybody make a lot of noise for Mateo.
Well, I guess I'm next. I thought he said last. I thought he said that I was last, but it's okay. I'm fine with it. It's all good. I'm still reeling from that feature. That was just so good. Like, I'm just... So if I seem like I'm thinking about, like, my digital footprint right now, I am. Okay, so I'm back at it again today with yet another love poem. When will I stop writing love poems? When I stop getting my heart broken. So here we go. This one's actually kind of tender for me right now since I wrote it like about a week ago. But this is kind of how I deal with stuff that I'm going through. So, you know, y'all are just gonna get the scoop from it. So, after you leave, when the guilt comes, like a familiar sickly medicine turning in your stomach like an instinct, remind yourself that you did your best and this was not your fault. The picture of my guilt is your sweet face, crying and confused into my shoulder, pleading with gentle words for me to stay. When I do not, and I break your heart, the reason why is too long and complicated for you to understand right now. I remember what it was like to sink into my lover's bedsheets, to make a home in the cave of their neck, the stronghold of their arms. This smothering love felt too familiar. I met you only weeks before, but something about the way that you loved me reminded me of someone from long ago, a lover whose arms I could have died in, the deathbed of all of my ancestors' tragedies who chose codependency over loneliness. This is precisely why I had to leave, why I left as quickly as my nervous system would allow. At the break, you said nothing. You had no words. This stung, but I have learned to live with silence before, so I take it as progress that it only pinched a little bit this time. I take it as a sign that I made the right choice. I know that before love broke me and my self-worth asked me to change, I wouldn't have understood my words today either. Some lessons lovers cannot teach you. Some lessons you only learn the hard way. Of the words you said, that you had texted after, you told me you were shocked. You didn't see this coming. May I remind you that you never asked how I felt. You told me you were hurt because you poured all of your love into me, as if love entitled you to keep me. As if sweet nothings were worth more than difficult conversations and tangible actions, as if they weren't made valuable and true by this very work. I think you loved me as an idea, a vision you didn't have to put work into, an ideal that could have saved you. I asked you for a beehive and all you gave me was honey. Perhaps a child would have been satisfied with that, would have licked their fingers and been grateful, but I am not a child anymore. This is not enough to sustain me. My love is not transactional. My love is not unconditional. My love is reciprocal. My love builds upon itself. My love breaks family curses. My love starts with me and ends at your effort. My love is extraordinary and demands only the most courageous effort in return. My love is selfless. My love would never trap you with expectations that betray yourself. No one has ever loved you like that before. I loved myself enough to leave before you learned to appreciate that. And in the depths of me, I pray that one day you will understand and realize that the most liberating love one can offer is one that chooses you with reflection and actions rather than honeyed words that mean sweet, sweet nothing.
right, I have to pretend not to have emotions. God, how do you, man? Okay, so like, I'm upset that you keep getting your heart broken, but I'm like, low key not, because like I get good poems. So I'm just kind of like in this really torn space of like, mind you, I mentored this kid. This is why I like know him so well. But I'm like, ugh, God, please find love soon. But if you don't, like, because you want to wish that upon someone. You're like, I got my heart broken again. You're like, God, Mateo, did you at least get a good poem? Okay. Right? But yeah, it's a lovely, lovely time. I know, it's just, yeah, I'm not really into your emotional well-being. I just need the poems. Yeah. That's our relationship. Everybody, we have another poet coming up. Please make a loud noise for Bree Hill!
I'm still heartbroken by Mateo, Jesus. Hi, my name is Bree Hill, Brianna, whichever, I don't know, whatever you want to call me. My pronouns are they, them, theirs exclusively. If you misgender me, we'll have a nice little chat about it and it'll be lovely. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna do two. I'm only gonna do two. This is me reminding myself that I'm gonna do two. So I'm gonna read them from my chat book that I am done writing. I just need to publish it. I don't know where the heck to publish it, but it'll be published somewhere. Cool. The first one is called Heaven. I found the alternative title. It's called Niggas in Heaven. So this is called Niggas in Heaven or Heaven. Same thing. Take the next exit. Get off at the closest station. Walk 5 miles north and you have made it. Here, your mind is a blank slate, but your hips oddly remember the beat of holy horns. Past the gates, God is playing in a jazz band on the side of the street. His saxophone becomes a golden boy breakdancing with a melody and tune. A bass is a black woman's laugh, and somewhere an uncle is providing a beat with the tips of his toes. This place is familiar to you. Every person is black and bullet wounds are healed over without a scar, and you can say nigga here and you can make a nigga fall in love with you here, and my Siri just turned on and my Siri is a nigga here, and you can be a nigga here and you can kiss a nigga here. You can, because every person is black and a nigga, and we make words holy again with our tongues. Trees bear real fruit and taste like honeydew. Maybe this place is your grandmother's garden. The ground feels comforting and you find yourself rooted in love. Smells of shea butter and Egyptian musk has been kneaded into clouds that are as soft as thighs. You are convinced that you love them. They convince you that you're not. Return to the station. Adorned in a fresh cut and box braids oiled down, your skin glows gold with protection and you think the gates were opening up to you. Maybe you'll return to me. Maybe you'll find the name of the place that saved you. But for now, you'll call it heaven. Ashe. I gotta find it. I wrote way too much. I'm gonna do this other one. It's called Creations. It's also a love poem, but it's not sad. It won't break your heart, or maybe it will. I don't know. This is called Creations. Oh, fun fact about this one. I was hanging out with my boo, and I wrote it about her, and she read it, and I was like, God damn it, why would you read this? And so I was like face down in her couch, just like as she was reading it. I was like, whatever, it's fine, read it, it's fine, do it. She likes it, so it's fine. Cool, Creations. The beginning. Bodies, black bodies. Our bodies begin to relearn how to greet one another. The sounds of lips and hands, the communion of bodies. Somewhere in this room, the lights are on. The temperature feels fine. We've listened to the same loading screen of a movie for 20 minutes, and both of us are somewhere safe. I know it. Pain, pleasure, and patience are welcomed here. We hold each other's eyes, an interminable beat between each breath, and I realize she has the same color as mine. And I'm wondering if this is what it feels like to fall in love with yourself. I feel the Atlantic when I kiss her. I am reminded of the power that warm soil has when I touch her skin. I am convinced she rearranges ocean tides with her hips, and though I don't know how to swim, I still want to drive the boat. When I hold her, yeah, y'all know Megan Thee Stallion. Okay. I was like, when I hold her, it feels like I've inherited the earth. Only something so precious, indestructible, worthy, and fragile can be her. I want to wait for her. Is this what God feels like when he made Eden? Listening for my name and her laughter, her tongue is holy scripture and our mouths become the altar. I never liked going to church, but she makes me reconsider. I want to be her heathen. She says my name like a sin and I praise hers like a testimony. This is only the beginning of creating. Loving, melting, breaking into something that is made between the collisions of roles, the appearance of stretch marks, and the existence of care. The culmination of invitations I've been sending since day one. A prayer finally answered, a wish finally made true, a beginning, Ashe.
Whew, I love all these love poems. Y'all be going through so much romance that I'm so happy for you. But I'm like, over here, I'm like been single for like 7 years. Whoop, whoop. So I live vicariously through y'all. It's lovely. I was like, oh, that will be me one day. That will be me one day. I didn't do the best job about preambling the next poet. They already know. But the next poet to come up after them is Kiara. So just on deck. I hope that's an R. Cool. But coming up right now to share 2 poems real quick, give it up for Roland. Coming through the back. Make all the noise while he comes up to the stage. Make sure he arrives with positivity all the way up here. Keep it going, he ain't up here yet. He needs positivity the entire way up.
Jump back, Jack. Here I am again. Come in.
My dear friend, we love your poetry. We need you to
Speak right in.
right into that.
Okay.
Love you, brother.
Thank you. Jesse's just too much. This last year, the year before last, I wrote Outrageous, Contagious Harry. This last year, we filmed it. That man you seen up here on stage, that's Outrageous, Contagious Harry. Yeah. This year it's coming out. We'll be putting it out on YouTube and everything else. This is the big year for my business. I was raised in Brighton. The name of my business is Bright On Audio, Video, Media Production, Distribution. This poem is Natural Law, Life and Living, Forgiving. Life is a matter of giving and taking a breath, and a matter of life and death. Life is in the conscious and subconscious feelings and actions. Life is aware and not fully aware of repair, death and despair. Life is actions and feelings, repeating the eating, pleasure and pain. Life is a social problem of quality of life with or without a gun or a knife. Life is causes and consequences of attitudes and norms in behavior or a savior. Life is conflict and contradictions involving resolution or revolution. Life is focus or fallacy in reason and results, proof or insults. Life is truth in a sound argument or blind faith in a mistaken belief. Life is loving or a living grief in sound conclusion or a false dilemma. Life is eating or starving, acceptance or rejection, making a selection. Life is inductive reasoning with specific information or generalization. Life is strength or weakness, argument and predictions in validity. Life is smarts and stupidity. With a footing and foundation, with information. Life is critical thinking in personal and social problems for quality and or quantity. Life is individual personalities and motivations, human troubles and relations. Life is the origin of poverty and blame. When we are all the same, the causes are insane. Life is physiological and psychological problems, functional or dysfunctional. Life is addictive or non-addictive behavior, adequate or inadequate. Life is personality difference of attitudes and motives of experiences. Life is human values and survival. Every day a revival. Put to the test, a table rest. We know our time to come and our time to go as we get tired of the show. Thank you. I am a poet, but I'm also a writer. This one, as we move on in life, one thing that bothers me, and this is the only reason I went back to college, I really didn't want to do it because it was pretty darn tough. But one of the things that I feel is happening to this younger generation is that there is going to be a fiscal cliff in this government, in this society. And with this fiscal cliff, we're talking about fiscal government monies and cliff. I feel that something could be as bad as the Great Depression. And for this generation that's living right now, it's not going to be funny. So when I write, a lot of times I'm writing because I have to get serious, not because I want to, but because I feel I have to. Profound change evolves with joy and truth. Today, pray. One fine day, two imaginary characters appeared in the mind of a troubled man, so he wanted and needed to figure out different problems in life. In life, everybody knows that the mind has different ideas, illusionary thoughts for creative adventures, to add or subtract a living life for all, and it begins with the input of the brain-mind intellectual thought. Yet Joseph Chilton Pearce, the American author of books on human development, has identified how the intelligence of the heart has set up a biological and a spiritual foundation that can unfold if proper society and parents give the truth knowledge and nurturing for proper growth. So with this in mind, the characters begin to grow into an avenue and a path for a new idea of finding a voice to help others find their proactive voice. First things first, we begin with the end in mind. Once upon a time, Whittle and Waddle saw a dynamic changing society speeding along into a cloudy future, coughing in the dark with smoke and fire, the burning trees and buildings, and wondering why. If for every action there is a reaction according to natural universal law of cause and effect, where does it start and where does it end? This beginning is in truth. So Whittle and Waddle began to be truth seekers with a reason, meaning and purpose leading the way. In a sense of natural law, all life begins at birth, and worth of common sense in the primary caregivers and the livers of life, in a heart-mind dialogue and the proper nurturing environment. In this open social world and environment, Whittle and Waddle began to see the sensitivity and the insensitivity, the caring with love and the not caring, apathy. This is human life indifference with a lack of interest, concern, or sympathy as a very unimportant waste. Whittle and Waddle began to observe mankind from different important points of view. Whittle and Waddle started to ask people what was the biggest motivation in life, and the very important word and understanding was needs. Satisfied basic human needs that start out as priorities to basic survival. Whittle and Waddle discovered the first level of self-satisfied needs was the hunger, the thirst, and breathing air for the physiological needs. They discovered the ire and the anger of how mankind changes with unfulfilled needs to a daily struggle to barely survive. Whittle and Waddle discovered the meaning of insanity, that was repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, losing trust and not caring in a dog-eat-dog world of survival of the fittest, armed conflict, war. Think about a world changing into a new world order and how the majority of mankind have the potential with new possibilities to create this conscious evolution. Barbara Marx Hubbard wrote the book, Conscious Evolution, with a specific insight of others as a social scientist. She is a futurist with the hindsight experience, insight knowledge, and the profound foresight for a new world growth order without a Cold War. World wars with force against force have identified history of the ego, the superego, and the id to be greater than great. Thank you. This is just one quick one. I might have said it before, but this is, take a load off me, let me be free in my destiny. As a jackass of life, I can carry the load, but is that all I can do for you? Mama raised me right, ready for the fight, to defend myself, but is this for real? This is not the way I feel. As a workaholic, an alcoholic, is this symbolic of choices? Do I do myself wrong or right if I don't see the light with my internal voices? Mama, you helped me as a child when you smiled, when I was rough and wild, but now I'm ready to move on with some world education. But life is not a vacation. Thank you for the tear. It was nice to have you here without the whiskey and beer. I know I have an addictive behavior, and you have been my savior, but not every moment. And when I hit the wall and fall, fail and wail, flying high in the sky to do or die, with 1 foot up and 1 foot down, following the crowd round and round, up and down. What a shame, we're all to blame for the fire and flame. A life tougher, rougher, in sin and sorrow, waiting for a tomorrow or a better choice with an open voice. In open mind, find the time, the rhythm and rhyme, but first the hunger and thirst. Look at the sunshine and flowers, natural powers, in wind and rain, to do the same. Bring in the light, no erratic and fight, no irrational behavior, but be a truth savior. It is not over yet, grief and regret, but be cool or be a fool. Lying, crying, and dying, make time count, or are we counting time like a nursery rhyme? Little Bo Peep, pop, what did we drop? Alcohol and drugs? Bad habits to grab like wild rabbits? Grab light to the right, a beam in the dream. Reverse your thinking, stop drinking. Life is love, a love from above. Within your spirit to see it and hear it, not fear it. Life is feelings, really revealing. Sure, heartache and sorrow, but let's make a better tomorrow. This is everybody's world in strength and weakness. Hang tough. Intellect and intelligence is the facet to consciousness in stimulus and response with the freedom of choice in all behaviors and habits. There are days of plenty, and it will get worse with the fiscal cliff coming. Be aware. Thank you.
Can we give it one more time for Roland, everybody? Roland is one of our regulars all the time, so I very much appreciate it when he comes around because he holds it down. We only got 3 more poets left, and then we'll be done with the night. Thank you all so very much for sticking around. The next poet, JD, you are on deck. Let me not forget that, right? But the next poet to come up onto the stage, make a loud noise for Kiara.
I'm not that sure, am I? Okay. Hi, everybody. My name's Kiara, and thank you so much for welcoming me to the stage. This is my first time being here, and this is also my first time ever reading a poem on stage. But this is all a part of a rebirth of mine to get my voice up and out and to get my body to reach my confidence. And so I think I'm doing pretty good, so shout out. But I don't know if I said my name, but I'm Kiara. And I was born in Colima, Mexico. When I was 4 years old, my family and I migrated here to Denver, and this has been my home ever since then. But as fate would have it, I'm undocumented, and so that identity holds a lot of weight. And a part of why I'm getting to my confidence is because I've been really put down by that identity. So today I wrote a poem called I Am Not a Dreamer because I have a lot of, not like resentment, but I kind of push away that dreamer idea because I feel like it makes it seem like we are dreaming to have basic human rights. And so that really is just annoying to me. And so when I think of that, I want to dedicate this first poem to a dear friend of mine. His name is Cristian Solano Cordova. He put his dreams on hold to become a doctor in order to advocate for the rights of immigrants. And so while that is very admirable, it makes me angry that he can't follow his dreams because he has to be fighting this ancient fight. So this is for him, and I'll finally start. So, you call me a dreamer, but I am here to tell you that I am not the one with my head in the clouds. It was never my people's fate to dream and pretend that the world was flat for us to explore and to devour for the sake of a vision. No, my blood is wise. It has fed from the land and coexisted with stars from other solar systems, and we know our place in the universe. What I ask for is no dream. And I am not standing here to let others choose when they can take me down because they don't know the humiliation of calling a just life a dream. It takes courage to emerge from the sea of shame that romanticizes my plight for human rights. It took strength to break the shackles and face my mother's tears to teach her to extinguish fear from her heart and worries from her mind. I don't feel like a dreamer because the injustice of this land's history and present has jolted me awake. I stand before you today, bestowing vibrations that conform to the universe in your brain to say that I will only dream when it is at my own hands. No one here or near shall define me as a dreamer for claiming my fate. I am reclaiming the haunted word that empowered kings long ago to say that with or without you, I belong. Though moons and suns have traveled at my side, I am a foreigner, no more than the settlers whose veins pump pain into my own cold heart. I travel now to the ends of the universe for a flittering light of hope, begging me not to give up on this very real and very painful reality. I will no longer dream, but stand up. I will no longer dream, but act. I will no longer dream, but fight back. Thank you.
That was dope. Give it up one more time for a first time. You can just scratch that off, done. Right. I will also say, never underestimate what it is to just get up on stage, regardless of the number of people. I know a lot of the times you're like, okay, I'm going to come to this open mic. It's going to be easier. At least it's not 3,000 people, right? No lie, it is a lot easier to do a poem to 3,000 people. You know why? Because you can't see all their faces, right? It's so much easier because you're just a blur of lights. Cool, right? But here it is a lot because you're just like, well, hello, everyone. We are all looking at me. Great. So I very much appreciate that, Bravery, for coming out. Plus, your poem was dope. All right, y'all. On deck is Isabella, but bringing us up next is going to be JD.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I did it. I was the one to do it. I'm sorry. My name is JD. I go to CU Boulder. I write more raps than poetry. I had not planned on doing something tonight just because I didn't want to write a poem. But as fate would have it, my homie Karen signed us up anyway. So I'm going to do a little rap for you that I wrote about the cop that pulled over Charlie. Yeah. This performance today is to build confidence and teach me how to use a mic. All right. I'm going to kind of try to do it like a poem, and it'll switch over to rap and a poem and whatever I feel. All right. Who the hell better than me? Who the heck better than me, huh? Who the hell better than me? I'll tell you who. The clowns shooting up the clubs just to shoot, claiming no one's above the law, knowing that ain't true. Not the Crips, I'm talking about the thugs, armored in blue. Now guess who? Here to have our backs, but really they frontin'. Sworn to protect and serve, but really they huntin'. Government funded, ex, publicly trusted, strutting like a QB, coming running and gunning. You wanna call the shots, take a life, and then say nothing. See your kid walking down the block, assume he up to something, because he wearing a hoodie, because he ain't where he should be, because the skin color he reppin' is way better looking. Eradicating the population just like a saying. Shot that homie in the name of justice, who you playing? Justice supposed to taste sweet and y'all some unfried bacon. You supposed to keep the peace, officer, not playing Satan. Even though some of our residents prefer to have the devil as our president, giving these sick-ass cops paid leave for medicine. It's so embarrassing how these judges can't do their job, and now these problems starting to feel so damn repetitive. Injury on the street, everybody take a knee, Kaepernick. Odd how you think you look dapper with that gun on your leg, that badge on your chest, that crown on your head. Ain't you heard what anyone said? Blue is the new black plague. These overprivileged rats pushing us to the edge. Can't trust the media, can't trust the feds, but they still throw in that blue and red, that blue and red. Blue is the new black plague, infecting even those outside of jurisdiction. Can't take the gang violence, can't take the bloodshed, but they still throw in that blue and red. Condoning corrupt laws, trying to control our fate. Y'all the real criminals, driving up the crime rate. Lobbying for corporations really ain't in high taste. Crooked systems, crooked politicians all over the place. And Lady Liberty disgrace, banning THC to leave the POCs in dismay. Now I can't celebrate my own way in my own home state, which is Texas. Walking out blazed is like a cow on weed, high stakes. And you still want to tell us to do, and we're still supposed to do whatever y'all say. Y'all hypocrites don't even turn signal on a highway. The myth of liberty for all is debunked. No warrant, and you still trying to check my trunk. I don't know what asshole deemed you the big poop. If I gotta say please, I'd rather plead the fifth. Higher authority means that we ain't equal. The only thing y'all saving is traditional ideals. I can see the haters there witnessing these convictions. I'm a prison system with prescription addiction. I got bars on 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 bars, yeah. The only difference is I ain't making money off it. Y'all doing this just to make a profit. Blue is the new black plague. These overprivileged rats pushing us to the edge. Can't trust the media, can't trust the feds, but they still throw in that blue and red. Blue is the new black plague, infecting even those outside of jurisdiction. Can't take the gang violence, can't take the bloodshed. If you ain't white or blue, then you're dead. That's everything.
Where are all these newbies coming from? Is this y'all? They say Boulder, so I literally assume y'all. Yeah, like it's just those two, Bree and Mateo and Charlie, are the Boulder cast. So I'm assuming that anyone who runs from Boulder is with them, right? So now you are associated with them. Cool. Okay. All right. Keep doing that. Bring Boulder's peoples, because apparently if y'all are hiding up there in the little crevices, we gotta be like, come on, mente, right? And they all up here all shy. This is my first time here. It's like, do you hear yourself? I just need you to hear yourself for a hot second, and then you'll be fine. Then you'll be like, yeah, I'm great, right? Cool. Glad we covered that. All right, then, friends. To close out the night, we have one more poet. Please make a loud noise for Isabella.
Hi, everybody. My aunt went earlier, so I thought might as well. So I go to basically an all-white high school in Highlands Ranch, and they usually call me what's called an honorary white, and I did not like that, so we decided to write this. Do I scare you? Through the first look or first impression of me, I'm not that big, I'm not that strong. I don't think I look that scary, but am I to you? Have you ever been judged due to your looks or color of your skin? I have. I'm not any different than any of you. I go to school, I work, I participate in school activities, I have a home and a family, but yet every day is a new chance to be judged, a new chance to hear another name or another joke. Have you ever felt like you're automatically an outcast just because you look different? For something you can't even change. But how can this be? Racism is dead, right? Family, friends, the people I love go through this every day. Taught to turn the other cheek, not to engage. But every day it gets harder and harder to not break down. Greaser, filthy, dirty Mexican. Everywhere I go, these nicknames aren't new. I've been called these more times than I count. Yet I don't ever say a word. Get out of here, go back to your country. Excuse me? I was born and raised here. Yet you're telling me to get out? Why? What did I ever do to you? I'm sorry the sun fell in love with my skin. You barely even know me or my family, yet you shake my hand and then put hand sanitizer on. Or you cross the street as my family approaches you, or stare at me in the grocery store scared I'm gonna rob you or steal something. I'm not doing anything wrong, but automatically you think the worst. If you knew me, you would understand I'm not the things you say. I'm an A and B student, proud to be who I am. Keep shouting how I'm different, keep shouting how I'm a different color. Those who are different are meant to stand out. You judge me for who I love. I hold my girlfriend's hand and all I get are stares. I can't wait until the day the stares becomes applause because I can't help who I fall in love with. Love is unique. Love can't be changed. Love is the end that can overpower hate. I love every single one of those people who try to bring me down because I know deep down there is love. There is someone who loves them. So I turn the other cheek. I turn the other way when they try to break me and be the bigger person. It's easier said than done. Then every day becomes harder and harder to see who I truly am and not what they say I am. I desperately cling for the truth. I cling to the hope that one day this will end. I'm the oldest of 6. An interracial family, and even my siblings have gone through this. My cousin, who is slightly darker than the rest of us, is seen to be scary. My father has been told to get out of this country, and my mom is judged because she doesn't speak Spanish. My siblings get this look, but they are too young to understand. I hope they never have to go through this hatred, but it's around every goddamn corner. Excuse me if I cuss, but what else can I say? That words don't hurt, or in the end, things will change. You will never have to go through what I have to go through because you're white, privileged assholes. But I will always be proud. I'm proud to be Mexican American. I'm proud to be bisexual. I'm proud to be me. This is my story. This is who I am. Will you listen or you pretend like you never heard the truth of reality again?
So, real quick, sorry, we have one more person who got so inspired by y'all that they wanted to sign up. Before we bring them up, on deck is Elijah real quick, and that'll be the last poet. We do have all the stuff recorded, so if you were one of the poets and would like that kind of information and that kind of like publicity, and you have a social media handle of any sorts, Instagram, Facebooks, even Twitter, you can go ahead and put it on the sign-up list over at the door, and then when we publicate it, we get to tag you so you have that. For your edification or not. You can use it or just learn from it. I learn a lot from those videos as well. Also, please, if you guys do not know, this space really supports us by giving us this like collaboration right here. And so if you guys do not follow KGNU on the like social medias, then go ahead. The cool thing too is you can listen on the radio because our features actually get a radio slot onto it. So I know, right? Yeah, surprised you with that. Kaka! Yeah, sometimes you hit them with the sound effects. But it's a really cool thing. It usually goes on a couple of days after the open mic, so it's a really awesome opportunity for artists to put themselves on the platform. With that being said, we're going to bring up the last poet of the night. Please make a loud noise for Elijah!
Shouldn't have brought gum up here to chew. My fault, y'all. Now I'm gonna have to awkwardly hold it in my hand. Like, it's all sticky. Shit, it's close too, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants no gum on them, right? Well, if y'all don't know me, my name is Elijah. I'm a youth leader and social activist in the community. I also go by Young Activist. Sorry if I'm feeling a little down today. I would love everybody to give a 15 time or seconds of silence because a sister who I knew in my bello just recently passed away yesterday, and her brother killed her. So, yeah, so if we can give 15 seconds of a moment of silence, please. Thank you. So this piece is going to be basically about how I feel in America as a person of color and the insecurities I feel with that. I feel like we walk with devils. Sometimes I feel like we walk alone. Every time I see my face, I see my own devil. Every time I see the enemy, I see it in me. These people have been dying for years, years on end, not by the hand you would expect, but by their own. Sometimes their sisters, sometimes their mothers, sometimes not even physical but spiritual. We have been dying We haven't felt livelihood in years. We're the ones neglected. We're the ones not respected. We're the ones who don't respect ourselves because why? What reason do we have to? Should I love myself when I see myself as a nigga? Should I love myself when I see myself as nothing? Should I love myself when I go to school every day and my forefathers don't look like me? Should I love myself when my mother whoops me if I don't go to church to worship a Jesus that doesn't look like me? Where's the self-love? I look everywhere. Left, right, forward, backwards. And I see hatred. I cope with it in many ways. Money, love of gangs, love of murder, love of drugs. But no matter how I cope with it, I always feel empty inside. Is it because I'm nothing? Is that how they want me to see myself? Is that how it is? Am I just a slave? Am I waiting for a guy who doesn't look like me in the sky to come and save me? Where's the self-love? I walk with the devil every day to the highest peaks, whether I'm rich, whether I'm old, whether I'm young, whether I'm poor. Because it's a mask. Because I can't see the God in me. I can't see my self-love. I can't see how I'm special. Because I've been taught my whole life that I'm nothing more than a slave. Thank you. But yes, I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all letting me up here to communicate that. It's just, it's just real crazy because there's a real big gun violence issue right now in Colorado. 2 people just died yesterday, both 17 years old. And a lot of people want to blame the gun. But I'm going to be honest with you. It's not always the gun. It's the self-value and educating your people on how to use it. We don't understand self-value at all. We don't understand how to truly understand how to love ourselves. But that's because when we go into education systems, who do we see? We see white teachers. We see white principals. We see white staff. We see white counselors who are trying to educate our black and brown children on how to understand their importance, on where to go with their lives and their future with their own privilege. But we have to understand that if we don't start teaching our children that self-love, we're going to see another black boy or black girl, a brown boy or black or brown girl in a position you don't want to see them in, whether it's in prison or whether they're dead. So it's important that we start teaching our people self-value and the history that they ain't teaching us in schools. Thank you. That's it.
I think that's a wonderful note to end on for this. I mean, this space is literally created by the indigenous community to serve the indigenous youth, which is one of the most underserved communities in here. It is open to all cultures, obviously, because we're all indigenous, just indigenous from different places, right? And so with that, please honor your stories, honor where you come from. I'm so glad that this whole family's here. Also, it was really cute when you were up here, they all had their phones out. I went to my friend, I was like, oh, look at this, this is adorable. Please continue to share stories. I always tell people, if all of this goes away, all the electricity dies, literally there's such a nil chance that someone will reinvent all of electricity to run it through a server on 100,000 years from now to pull up Twitter feeds and Google Drives, right? But for whatever reason, paper lasts forever, right? You can find archaeological journals that are 200 years old. You can find paper that is 1,000 years old. You can find paper that's 5,000 years old, right? Draw on chalk, do whatever you got to do, put it somewhere other than electronics. Thank you for the feature, also bringing our digital footprint to the ground. But make sure that the history is kept. Also, talk to your peoples, because should those books burn away, but someone still knows how to write the story down, you'll be good. Cool. All right, friends. Thank you all so very much for coming. If you want to help, everything but the last 3 rows in the back has to be folded and put on those walls right there. Thank you so very much. Have a good night.